Hey, what's up guys? We're back again with a new minor poison mortar deck that pro players are using to shoot to the top of the ranks. 20 players in the top 200 are using this deck, and the pro player sandbox got to number 4 in the world. By spamming evolved bombers and mortars, you're able to dismantle opponents with a long range. And cause your cards have a game-winning potential from such a long ways away, most opponents aren't ready for it, increasing the odds of getting a good mortar connection or an Evo bomber lineup. Especially when you go for little prince abilities or minors to pull your opponent's units back near the tower or keep them in place. If you only have one evolution, use evolved mortar. But if you have 2 and you don't have the Evo bomber yet, you can use bats instead. And if you don't have the extra evolution, use minions instead of bomber. Also, fire spirit and ice spirit work in place of electro spirit. Minor mortar poison has got significantly more explosive, so it's time to manifest mayhem and assert dominance. And big bomber love to everyone that's supporting the channel with credit code SirTag. Hey, we got a game against someone with a Cupid Goblin banner. I've never seen that thing before. So hopefully he is mystified by our deck, just to the extent that we're mystified by the banner. Also, we're using the Cannoneer Tower right now. We're going to switch to the Princess Tower after this. I just like showing one game with this since it is played really commonly with Cannoneer at the top of the leaderboard. I'd say pro players typically use Cannoneer with this deck more times than not. Since you have a super fast card cycle, the Electro Spirit can clean up bait cards. You can use the Cannoneer and be really comfortable. Usually, I think without Cannoneer, you would prefer to be using a Ice Spirit so you have better defenses. Since you have the Princess Tower to destroy all the bait cards, you don't need the Electro Spirit as well. It's nice to have, but it isn't a necessity. So we're going to go for the Mortar, and I think we just go in for the Evo Bomber directly on this, right? It should be able to blast the tower for 2 shots, maybe 3. Yo, we force out a log, so he saves his life. Also, if you are unaware, Musketeer will get 1 shot here, which is beautiful. And we can go in for an Evo Mortar as well aggressively. And the reason why we're playing so aggressive right now is because I know for a fact that since we have the evolution, we will be able to get a better trade than our dude. Having the Electro Spirit comes up clutch against Skeleton Barrels, as you're about to see. And then the Mortar should lock onto the Spear Goblins, then hit the tower. Wait, what? How did that happen? This is blasphemy. There is no reason for that to blast the tower, but I am taking monstrous value right now. This guy, his towers are sinking, his heart is sinking, and his heart is probably blinking. It is going on and off as his tower gets reduced to rubble. That's ridiculous. So for the rest of the game, I'm just going to go for mortars on defense. There's nothing he can do. When you're playing against another mortar deck, it's probably better to be running a Cannoneer in situations where they have minor. But if they've got anything else and they're just flinging mortars at you, you would prefer to have the Princess Tower with higher health. Yo, he's going to go for an aggressive mortar, and look at this bomber value. We are blasting him with double evolutions, and it is no big deal to defend this. As I said before, you just drop your mortars on defense and you say, bye-bye, you can't go into this. Bye-bye, you can't go into my evolved bomber either. So once you have a lead, lock it down and play defensive, and no one's breaking through. And after beating our mortar brother, we pushed up to 9,000 in the world. And we're going to swap the Cannoneer for the Princess Tower to showcase the more accessible version. Hey, let's go. We got a game against Joy Boy. So he's not going to be super happy when he realizes that he's going to get blasted by a bomber and a mortar. First strategy for us is to cycle the 2 elixir card, because that's the best way of getting into an evolution that will pummel the opponent. Then we're going to go for Electro Spirit, pull back the Barbarill. That's going to be a +1 trade. It's obvious that it's going to be a graveyard deck after we see Barbarill and a Baby Dragon, so we have to play accordingly. I can't necessarily go for poisons unless I'm getting ludicrous value. At least like in single elixir, maybe I can, but in double, it's going to be a bit harder if he goes in for a graveyard because he'll always be able to afford it. Wait, we can go for a bomber and force the NATO. He has to NATO this. He has to NATO this, and then he can't NATO on the minor? Wait, is he not NATOing? Why is he taking so much damage right now? Yo, if the mortar locks on a tower instead of the skeleton, that would have been huge, but it didn't happen. It's still fine. The guy is obviously, as predicted, not having a good time. Isn't it interesting how the guy's name is Joy Boy? He is not filled with joy. He's filled with rage. I'm glad that we're on the same page and we were able to identify what was going to happen, though. I'm going to go in for a knight. We're going to be able to body block the Baby Dragon. Sure, he could tornado that close to the Princess Tower and then splash it on the tower for 1 Baby Dragon belch, but he doesn't decide to do that fiery play. I want to go in for a bomber here as well, and then just force more elixir and go for a minor. The Barbarills, he's not going to have a good amount of answers for us because he has to knight either on the minor or on the bomber. So if you do that, then you're going to be either splashed by the bomber that's going to go and target the knight and the tower, or you're not going to have a good answer to the minor and you have to spend extra elixir. So that's exactly what we got to have happen there. The other thing that I want to do is if I poison in single elixir, I think it's justifiable because it's going to be harder for him to apply pressure here. And then if he goes and clicks a Barbarill, yeah, it's able to kill our little prince, but then you don't end up having anything for the mortar. So I'm going to play very aggressive right now when we have the advantage. He still hasn't even been able to touch my tower. And look at that. That's what I'm talking about, dudes. So we're going to reset the baby dragon and also eviscerate some of the skeletons. Yo, the electric spirit chained onto the tombstone too. This is already a win. There's nothing my guy can do anymore. The beautiful sensation to see mortar just blasting away some of the most toxic and prevalent decks in the game. If you guys hate playing against graveyard, you're always able to keep up the pressure, and if they just lose one interaction, they're going to lose the game instantly. Hey, he gave up. Let's go. I love demoralizing graveyard opponents to the point that they just don't want to play anymore. With one of the strongest decks in the game, this guy couldn't withstand the pressure. Winning this game was light work. Hey, we got a game against someone with a miner in their banner. So if we have a miner, I'm obligated to shove it at the tower, drop it as fast as I possibly can. He's going to drop skellies in the back, and he's not going to be prepared to catch the miner. Dude, wait, how did he catch it? I'm so confused. He pushed the miner away with the knight. The knight was just too thick or something, I guess. So I want to go for electric spirit and then mortar. I think this is going to be our best bet. We should be able to kill one of the wall breakers. Yeah, nice. So one of them died before it blasted the mortar, allowing the mortar to still stay alive and force out a bomb tower. Since our dude is going to have a bomb tower miner catcher with knight and skellies, it's either going to end up being something like minor wall breakers or it's just going to be minor poison. So don't necessarily know which version he's going to be playing. I know I can go for a knight here. Oh, okay. All right. I see how it is, my guy. You're going to be really aggressive right now. I want to click the ability, even though I can't necessarily get like the best trade in the world. It's still going to be decent. We're forcing out a miner on defense. That means he's going to have limited offensive potential. And the Guardian's going to enable us to be able to possibly get to a cycle where we can go for a mortar here. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. Even though the mortar is going to be oriented in the left-hand side, it still pulls both of the wall breakers from the right-hand lane. If you guys didn't know that, that works against Battle Ram, it works against Ram Rider, and it works against wall breakers. It's super nice to have that type of game knowledge because it allows you to get that extra shot, or I guess 2 or 3 extra shots with our mortar, even though our opponent logged. So if you do that, you're going to be able to get a cumulative damage, and if you don't know that, you cycle on the same side, you'd be like, I guess my mortar's getting some damage on the other side, and then you're like, well, I guess I'm going to win the game a lot slower then. All right, we can maybe go for a miner and then poison on skeletons. I bet you go skellies here. There's no doubt he's going to drop skeletons. Let's pre-poison. Oh, wait, we have the electric spirit, so he wasn't going to. Well, ooh, all right. I see you, man. You're spending all of your elixir here on defense and offense. You're crazy. I think in our interest to go for an electric spirit to go and pull back his knight and then make sure that the evolved bomber is going to be back in cycle for us after this. So somehow, some way, our bomber wasn't smart enough. Oh, wait, no. Our bomber was brilliant. I was wrong. I thought the bomber was going to go back towards the miner. I also don't think he thought that one through either because there's no way that our bomber should have given us that amount of value. Wait, how did the bomber give me that amount of value? Actually, I have no idea right now. Anyway, we're going to run it back, and this time we're going to show the Magic Archer who the real Magic Archer is. Just for the memes, I had to do it. It's way better to drop it on the left-hand side because I would have gotten damage on the side that we wanted. But just to assert dominance against the Magic Archer, as you guys already know, the 2 elixir card is simply superior. We're going to electric spirit to pull back the knight, and then I can go for another bomber here on defense. And the Magic Archer dies. The knight isn't going to give him that much damage. Maybe 1 hit. No, it doesn't even happen. Dude, the bomber's back like he never even left. Watch. We're going to be able to finish off the wall breakers again. He's going to Magic Archer. We're going to pre-knight. And then we're going to go for miner. We're going to go for mortar. And he Magic Archer, so he just doesn't drop it in the right spot. Oh my gosh, he's not ready. His body isn't prepared for the bomber. His bomb tower is getting bombed by the bomber. Look at this. Dude, this is so dumb. I don't even want to drop anything else until I have to. I just wanted to see how much damage it would get. It's simply stupid that you can mess around with a card and mess your opponent up to that degree. Legitimately, the interactions that Evolve Bomber brings feels like cheating. All right, we're jumping into the game here. We're going to go Bomber in the back first play. It is by far the best play with this deck. And then you already know how this is going to go. We're going to spam more and more evolutions. I don't appreciate the fact that that Ice Spirit jumped through and somehow found its way onto my tower. That's ridiculous. We are going to reset the Musketeer here. I kind of want to drop a miner, just because I think that the bomber is going to stay alive and annoy our opponent. If that bomber blasts the tower, it would be so worth. Just for my mental, you know? Getting that 400 damage when our opponent probably has the bomber at kill zone for everything. Pretty fun. So it's weird how all the cards are seemingly find a way to lock onto the tower here. You know what the most obnoxious thing to do in Clash Royale? Have skeletons like flowing through, and then you like latch onto them with a skeleton's counter of evolved bomber or like a Magic Archer, and then the opponent just takes damage and they're like, screw this game. Oh man, I'm gonna go for a mortar and then a miner, and I want to keep his elixir low so he's not gonna be able to defend everything at once. Even though he's going to have decent answers, if we can kill the musketeer quickly, then the mortar will lock onto the tower. And obviously, if he's trying to defend against the mortar, he might not have elixir to go and counter the miner that's on his elixir collector. If you apply dual lane pressure, or if you simultaneously spam at the same time, especially with overpowered evolutions, you can put your opponent in a chaotic spot where they're going to fall apart. So we want to go for a bomber again and give this guy another opportunity to slip and fall. Definitely want to go and stand tall with our mortar. And then I'm going to go for an electric spirit and make sure that I have just enough elixir for the knight. And then that should be able to tank for the expo, enabling us to go for Little Prince. Little Prince's range is ridiculously long, so watch this. It's going to be able to kill the expo and still go on the right-hand side where we will be able to protect our evolved mortar. This is exactly the way that we wanted to play. Also, I wonder, dude, the mortar is putting in so much work. If that got another shot, we would have been winning the game. Can't guarantee a W right now, but who knows? Maybe we're able to dig it out with this Little Prince ability. Oh, let's go. I don't know if you guys see that, but the Little Prince is not getting targeted, enabling us to go in for a log, keeping the Little Prince alive so we can get even more damage. You know what? I think we found the saving grace. We're going in for the bomber to blast the expo and eradicate his tower at the same time. This is so astoundingly stupid. How did a 2 elixir card kill a 6 elixir win condition and the tower at the same time? Clash Royale, you might have to rebalance your game just a little bit. Oh, we're running it back, but this time with double evolution sauce, the evolved bomber and mortar in tandem. It's safe to say that no one's safe from the evolved bomber. This card really needs a nerf. And when you're able to apply aggression with the minor poison, evolved mortar, and the evolved bomber at the same time, the direct damage that you can deploy is undefendable. On to the next one. Florida Maid, who finished 380 in the world. Top Flame. Well, your flame's about to get extinguished, my guy. The good thing that we have here is we've got the bomber, and it's going to blast down the spear goblins and, you know, get us the evolution a little bit quicker. So it's awesome. I love the fact that I just changed towers, and now we're playing against a bait deck. That is unbelievably lucky. And that log timing was crisp. Chef's kiss to that log, guys. That was beautiful. We're going to Electro Spirit. And as I said before, Mortar is way harder to play against when you don't have the Princess Tower, because you don't want the Mortar or a Siege card to lock onto you. Oh, well, I guess we're running it back the exact same way that happened last time. So we're just going to go and spam mortars in your face, my dude. Oh, I forgot I don't have the Cannoneer. This might be a bit more uncomfy for us to defend. We will use our Electro Spirit to reset and pull back the Cannon. Not the Cannoneer. We're going to go and pull back his Guardian. He played this very well. Like, this guy is no joke. He's quite a good player. Going to force us to log. I was kind of hoping that we would be able to hit the Spear Goblins with the Mortar, so then we wouldn't have to spend any extra elixir. Ooh, this is looking really, really, really bad. Seriously, well played, applying pressure when we don't have much to deal with it. I'm going to go for a Knight, so then the Skeletons lock onto the Knight, and you want to drop the Knight as the Skeletons pop. If you drop it too soon, then the Skeletons are going to shovel your Knight and push it back. You don't drop it before the Skeleton Barrel pops on the tower. You have to identify that timing and hit it, so that you can get more value. Dropping the Mortar on defense is definitely the play, so we can just soak up the damage and not let that lock onto our tower. Then we can Little Prince and click the ability here so we can kill the Knight and the Mortar. I don't necessarily think this is like the best play in the world, but I do want to be able to get comfortable counter push and also protect our Prince with the Mortar shot possibly. So he drops his Goblin Gang so low because he was freaking out about the Mortar. He didn't know if the Mortar would shoot it, so he didn't want to deal with it. Maybe just go for a Bomber directly on this and then go for an Electric Spirit after. And I think the Bomber stays alive, so that's good. An Electric Spirit now, it should be able to chain on most of the Skeletons. Very cool. All right, so this is one of those instances that I'm not like necessarily loving it because I kind of sort of might die to this Evo Mortar. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll mess around and find out. We're also going to go in for our own Mortar here. I think that does end up getting one shot on my tower. Not ideal. We're going to log. We're trying to displace his Little Prince, and we do. Oh, come on, man. You played that so well. I'm surprised that he played it that well. Wait, the Goblin's there. The Goblin's actually there. This is not fair. This is so good. Yo. There's a chance that I can still win this. If we can Mortar and get back to another Evo Mortar before he breaks down my tower, we might be able to win. Our strategy hinges on the broken evolutions, guys. That is our strat right now. We're playing against a top 300 player. He's up so much damage. The only way I win this is if we can just like abuse broken cards. And there's always a chance. There's always a chance in Clash Royale in 2024, which is exciting and also not so exciting if you're our opponent. So we're going to log here, and then we're going to go for a Mortar. As I said before, it's important to do this. We're going to Miner. He's probably going to drop a defensive Mortar. If he goes in for a Knight, we can pull it back, and then the Mortar should lock onto the tower if we played it well enough. Beautiful. We can go for a Poison as well. And I don't love this at all. I think I want to go for Bomber and Log. Log is going to be able to clean up all the Skeletons with no damage. And then I can go Evo Mortar again. I think with the bomber, it might distract his mortar, so that could be good. Also, if I go in for a miner here, that's awesome. Can I Electro Spear and kill the bar barrel? I do. Awesome. We can poison here. If we can just get mortar shots on the tower, we might be able to win. Or, hear me out for a second. Evo Bomber. Evo Bomber, Evo Bomber, Evo Bomber, be broken. Do broken things. Please, please let me win, Evo Bomber. No! I could have won that. Imagine if the Evo Bomber just got one more shot and we were able to afford a counter to the Spear Goblins behind the Skeleton Barrel. That was ridiculously well played from our dude. And you know what? Sometimes you do get outplayed. That guy deserved the win. We'll bounce on the next one and bounce back there. All right, let's get it. We got to make a comeback and bounce back. After losing a game, you guys know how we roll. We go in with the mortar and we're going to be vicious out here. That tower is nutritious and we want a snack. Okay, Royal Giant. Kind of the bane of existence of every single Siege deck player, because if you're playing Expo or Mortar and then the Royal Giant just assassinates it from across the river, it's never a good feeling. But you can bounce the Royal Giant back and be like, hey, how about you get a little bit of taste of your own medicine, my man? So obviously we want to augment that Little Prince if we can. We're going to go in for a bomber here and we're going to support it as much as possible. We can't go for goblins or skeletons or anything like that because the bomber will be able to blast it. And also if we log, we're going to force out a bit more elixir from our opponent, I think. I mean, I was hoping that we would be able to go and kill that bar barrel a little bit quicker so we could retarget on the Phoenix. I can still go and pull everything back with an Electro Spirit. Always make sure that you're dropping your Electro Spirit behind the Phoenix or the air card, so then when it maneuvers, it's going to go backward instead of forward. If you drop an Electro Spirit in the middle, closer to the both sides, then the Phoenix is just going to go and hit your tower afterward, and you're going to take more damage instead of pulling it back. All right, we're going to go Bomber here, which is, I think, a good decision. It should be able to blast the tower at least twice. Yes, sir. All right, we're going to poison on this too. There's no way. There's no shot. Oh my gosh. We literally leapt over his goblin cage that he meant to defend the game with. That is awesome. That actually makes me so happy. I'm happy that it happened, and I can't say the same about my opponent. He is probably not an enjoyer of that interaction, to say the least. I don't want to go for a log. I could deny all damage, but if we savor the flavor of our elixir just a little bit longer, then we've got multiple layers of offense. I think with the Little Prince and the Knight and the Guardian ability, he's going to have to go for a Phoenix on this, or he just loses. Awesome. The bounce back is real, and we've dominated today with a ton of quick wins. We didn't win every single game that we played, but man, we won a lot. And this guy just forfeited the match, not even want to play anymore. We're going to leave the Lone Wolf alone without any of his towers. My man is just a one-man army. No towers, but hopefully he at least has his phone, because you don't want to be out in the wilderness alone. The Evolved Farmer is breaking everyone's mental, so I just hope the guy didn't break his phone. Like, subscribe for more daily content, and have an incredible rest of your day.